So now we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is the main event, and this topic is
Ooh.
really controversial. I mean, very controversial. Ever since the year, I think it was 2007. Should Chris Benoit be forgiven?
Well, uh, obviously, I don't think you can really forgive anybody for doing something like that, but some smarks on the internet would have something to say about that, at least from what I've heard, and I'm sure you've heard, Crapper. Uh,
Yeah, oh yeah, oh
there are
yeah. I've seen a
some,
lot of this.
there are quite a few people, in fact, who believe that he should be in their Hall of Fame. He should be mentioned, not because of Chris Benoit the person, but Chris Benoit the wrestler.
He was a great technical wrestler. He should be in the Hall of Fame. That's all that matters. He was a great technical wrestler.
He does the things he did things in the ring that made your fucking smark boners hard, all the blood in your body and your head rushing straight to your dick, and but he had the charisma of a fucking stale piece of
The
dog shit
dry,
that you
yeah, the
stepped on
raisin.
in the park, and he had no mic skills whatsoever. I think I might have said this before, but he might possibly be the most overrated fucking wrestler of all time.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. Like, I mean, he was really. I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of. And this is kind of going back to the point where, like, the Smarks, they just like technical wrestling. And that's really all that matters to them. I mean, but Chris Benoit, he just did not have charisma. That was definitely his like the worst area of him. He like had absolutely no charisma. And obviously he was champion and everything, but he wasn't a very successful one. He was just kind of
No.
he didn't stand out at all. He wasn't like a big name. But yeah, that's kind of besides the point. I mean, I still think Benoit. I mean, he still had some good great moments. He did sacrifice his body and stuff. But and I know one of the major things that people talk about is like the flying headbutts and stuff, and how that might have impacted his brain. I mean, I personally don't think it had. I mean, of course, it had an impact, but I don't.
Yeah.
That had no impact in like the fact of killing his family. Absolutely not.
No. And if anything, it was probably all the chair shots.
Yeah, it could have been the chair shot. Yeah, definitely. But that had absolutely no impact in what he did. And I know the major thing is, oh, he had the brain of like an 88-year-old Alzheimer's patient. I think that's BS
I do
because,
too.
if he's talking to people like normal, if he's going on shows and still wrestling and still doing promos just a week before, like how can you say that it's that comparable to an 88-year-old Alzheimer's patient? He was talking to
Yeah.
people like a normal person. He was texting Chavo Guerrero like literally the day before he killed them, or like maybe even the day he did. I mean,
I
that's
think it
just
might
not
have been
comparable
that
at all.
day. I think he sent him that text like
It
sometime
actually,
like
it actually
after.
might have been after the murders. It might have been after the murder, because or he. I know he texted someone after the murders, but I'm not sure who it
Yeah, we
was.
should really like go on like a deep dive with this whole thing. There's a lot of lore here,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Make a Wrestlemania video.
we could, but it would actually have accurate information.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We actually like do our research right and not
yeah,
not feed our narratives about how Chris Benoit is like how he's innocent. We're not gonna do that.
how he was just such a great fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly.
There is all we could also talk about the conspiracy theories that have popped up over the
Oh
years.
yeah. And I'm sure a lot of the smart wrestling media, they love this. They love the conspiracy theories because then their fans will be like, "Oh, maybe Chris Benoit was innocent," and that's what they want to hear.
Yeah, yeah,
So
like
obviously, the major like top conspiracy
oh
is that
man,
Kevin Sullivan killed him. Kevin Sullivan, they had a big feud over Chris's wife, Nancy.
yeah
And
they
Kevin Sullivan wanted revenge, and this was like apparently people say this was like a 10-year. It was like coincidentally at the 10-year anniversary, which if that's what if that's like what you have to use as evidence, dude, are like like you are dumb, dude. I mean,
yeah
this is
people
there's
also
literally nothing to back it up. What do you have to back it up other than maybe it was like the 10-year anniversary, like something like that, dude?
I had
Give me a
also
break.
heard another thing that people like to use as a reason to connect him to that is the fact that he was a known Satanist, and
Yeah,
I've met
I mean,
and had conversations with multiple people who identify as Satanists,
And
And
Satanists don't just kill people. I mean, not all Satanists just kill people just because, like, oh, the devil,
no, they just
Like,
believe in weird shit. You know, they don't
I
necessarily do
don't
anything
even
to hurt
know if that's
people.
like a confirmed thing that he's a Satanist. I mean, it was part of his
No,
gimmick in like,
what I
I
had
mean,
heard, I can't confirm the validity of it either, but from what I've seen and heard, he was in fact like a Satanist to some
yeah,
degree.
I know it was like it was definitely like a part of his gimmick in wrestling though. That was like, you know, it was a gimmick
Very
too.
big part of his gimmick.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously there's literally nothing to connect the two. Oh, Kevin Sullivan, he killed him. No, that's I mean, you guys are just trying to, you know, scrape things up to just find a way to say that Chris Benoit maybe isn't, you know, guilty. Maybe he, you know, maybe he
Yeah.
didn't do it.
There was a. You want to talk about the Wikipedia thing for those who may not know?
Oh yeah, this is another thing that people bring up. You know, another thing that they want to just scrape the bottom of the barrel. You know, the Wikipedia hacker thing. So obviously, if you don't know about this, Chris's death was like posted a few hours before he died on Wikipedia. So I think on the article it said that, oh yeah, like Chris Benoit and like Nancy died. I think, or I'm not. I don't remember like exactly. It was. But I know that in the article it didn't say that Chris Benoit killed Nancy or anything like that. And it's just a bunch of, you know, made up BS that people like to, you know, they like to say, oh, this is proof that he did it. But it's, if you watch the interrogation of it, it is just some random kid. It's just it's just some random, like, he's probably a virgin. He probably, you know, he's your typical, you know, wrestling fan.
Looks like an AEW fan.
Looks like an AEW fan, definitely. Look up the interrogation. But it's just some kid. And then people also say, oh well, the location where the Wikipedia article was posted, it was in Stamford, Connecticut, or wherever the WWE headquarters
Yeah,
is located.
it's in Stanford.
Yeah, so again, I mean, it's just it's a coincidence. Yeah, but like, why does it even? What does it do to for the case? What does it? What does it prove? It proves nothing. It oh, so what? It was in the same area. I'm sure.
It was
I'm
a
sure
hired
Stanford,
hit by Vince.
I'm sure WWE is Stanford country. I'm sure everyone in Stanford watches WWE. It's the headquarters, dude. No, I'm not. I'm not.
It's an insane
Certain
coincidence.
of
I'll give it that. And it, you know, it's a very elaborate troll. Like he had to have known to some degree, right? I haven't watched the whole video.
Well,
But
okay. Well, here's the thing: is like a lot of people don't know this, but even before the entire incident happened, people knew something was up with Chris Benoit because he was no showing events. Like he was like I think he missed like an ECW event or something. I could be wrong, but
he missed
he
an
was
ECW pay-per-view.
people definitely knew that something was up, and like the major rumor was that he like him and his family like got food poisoning. I think
That's what he
that was
told
like
them.
the major. It was like yeah, and like that you know obviously dirt sheets were still you know around 2007. You know there were still plenty of forums and people knew kind of the inside thing about this. Like something's going on with him. So I mean, it's easy for someone to just say that to make up, you know, some troll to make up something that's saying that he died. And I don't even remember if it said like Benoit died or Nancy died or whatever it said. But it's so easy to make something up like that. I mean, I mean, if someone says, "Oh, they have food poisoning, they're sick," I mean, it's easy to say that. It's not like this. It's not like if he hadn't if these rumors hadn't come out, I could sort of understand why maybe it would be like a little weird, but these rumors just it kind of just proves that it was a troll.
Yeah, a very good troll, by the way. I do want to add that. That's that should be in a Hall of Fame somewhere. Like that
Yeah,
that would be a
so
nice feather to have in my cap for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, no. The bottom line, I don't think Benoit should be forgiven, and
Absolutely not.
if I also think if you know, like WrestleMania 30, for example, I could imagine for those who are like it almost parallels WrestleMania 20's main event like extremely, and they
Hmm.
like I remember they would like show clips, but like they yeah no it's just yeah no
You know, at the
I
same
can't
time, I
talk.
know yeah, we're talking about how like, you know, Benoit like obviously shouldn't be forgiven. Also, the next thing is, should he be in the Hall of Fame? Absolutely not. I mean, like, I
No.
still don't really get why people bring this point up. Like, oh, he was, his like his personal life should be separate from his wrestling. Like, no, dude, you can't. The Hall of Fame is something that honors people for them. You know, like, I mean, not only what they did in the ring, but their actual like them as human beings
Yeah.
too. And it's an honor of your entire life, and to honor Chris Benoit after that, I mean, that's like ludicrous, dude. I mean,
And
like,
to anybody who has that argument, who thinks that he should be maybe not necessarily championed, but acknowledged and uh, talked about with respect, would you feel the same way about OJ? And people have also made the argument, well,
also, would
OJ
you
was
feel
in the
the
Hall
same
of
way?
Fame, but
Would you feel the same way if someone like murdered your family? Like, would you would you be like, oh, they were a great wrestler, they should be in the Hall of Fame? Like, absolutely not, dude.
yeah, one
At
hundred
I
percent.
mean, at the same time, I'm not saying they should forget him. And that's another thing. I don't think he should be forgotten. Honor him. They shouldn't put him on the Raw intro, obviously. But I'm not. He can still be in the record books. That's yeah. He can still have his history. They shouldn't forget about him. I'm not saying that. But they don't need to honor him at the same time. It's just not. It's not a good thing to promote someone that did that to their family.
No, not at all. And if you actually rationalize that in your head in a way to where you personally could look past that, you might need to go get some tests done because there's a good chance you're either cognitively or emotionally retarded. So I'll leave you with that. That's pretty much
Jesus. Yeah.
that's the gambit in terms of my
I mean,
perspective on this.
I mean, retarded. I don't know. I mean, but I mean, definitely. I mean, if you are trying to justify a murderer just because they were a good wrestler, I mean, that you probably should get checked, or maybe
It's
you know,
it's the same principle you could apply to
maybe like
somebody.
touch grass, touch some grass.
Yeah, like
Get out of your room, feel the world,
I because
feel
that's how I
people.
feel about people who are like, okay, yeah, Hitler fucking murdered millions of people, but look what he did for the country of Germany and their people.
Yeah. And another thing, people say, "Oh, Jimmy Snuka's in the Hall of Fame, so why isn't Chris Benoit?"
Oh my
That,
god, dude!
that
That's
point is just
another one
unreal.
that's just fucking retarded because
Are you
it,
kidding me? Two wrong, two wrongs, or what's that saying? Like
two
one right
wrongs
doesn't.
don't make a wrong, or
Two
two
wrongs
two
don't make it
wrongs don't
right.
make it right. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, like,
And the thing with
it's
Jimmy
just an unreal
Snuka,
point.
that he was in the Hall of Fame. He had already been inducted like years before that happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, they didn't know about this. I mean, obviously, you could. I mean, they kind of knew something was up, but I mean, they didn't know for a fact. So, I mean, whatever. He's in the Hall of Fame. Okay, whatever. But that doesn't make it right. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't
I think
think
they
Chris Benoit should
removed
be in
him
the Hall
from
of
it.
Fame. Yeah, they might have. I'm not sure, but the bot that doesn't make it okay.
No.
Oh, because one murder is in the Hall of Fame, this other murderer should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. There's just no conceivable way to where like I personally wouldn't be happy if they all of a sudden decided, you know what, it's been long enough, let's put Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame. Because in all actuality, yes, he had some really great matches, but would you put him on the same level as The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan or
Absolutely
Randy
not. I
Savage?
mean, I guess like, if he didn't do what he did to his family, I guess I mean he would probably be in the Hall of Fame anyways because I mean, the Hall of Fame is a joke now. I mean,
Oh
let's be
yeah.
real. It's a joke. They would I mean, they would I think it should be for just top like the very top, like Austin, Rock, Hogan,
No,
you
and they
know.
like induct like fucking random celebrities who showed up for an episode of Raw one
Yeah,
time.
exactly. I mean, it has no value. I mean, I don't
Donald
even know what
Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, just because he like appeared on, I think he was on like WrestleMania, one of the WrestleManias.
Yeah, he had like it was like called the Battle of the Billionaires. Loser gets their head shaved at the end of the match.
I mean, that's just for that. I mean, like the Hall of Fame. I don't even know why people want Chris Benoit like in Hall of Fame. I mean, even Chris Benoit fans, like, why would you even want him in this pointless? Like, it's
Yeah.
ultimately pointless Hall of Fame.